What's up, good people? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm gonna say I'm giving disclaimers because, as you can see, my setup is not quite the same. Let me know if you can hear me first of all before I even get into any of that. Let me know by saying what can we say besides? I don't want you guys commenting guilty and hashtag justice for Andre because we're always saying that now. But uh, put in the chat Friday if you can hear me. Friday. Okay, we can hear you. Good, good, good. Oh, let me take the. I just know these are prescription, and I've been packing and taking things out, and so I have my sunglasses on. But I wanted to come to you guys this morning because last night when I got off of the live, I ended up in a conversation with someone on the phone, and they reminded me. They was like, "Did you talk about what happened with Tim?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot." And the thing was that I didn't completely forget because I gave like a little teaser when I started talking about Travell Anthony Hill's testimony, and I said it was the only thing that I could tell actually affected Tim throughout that whole thing. So I'm literally on my way to court, but I was like, I gotta let y'all know the biggest thing that I forgot to tell y'all, which was the biggest event that happened yesterday. So from here on out, what I'm gonna do in court is what I was just doing a minute ago, which is highlight the things that I want to make sure I don't forget to tell you guys. So with that, I want to do some housekeeping. I was able to watch the live last night and see, some comments and things like that. And so a lot of that, unfortunately, I don't notice during the lives because everything is moving so quickly, and I'm trying to, give the notes to you guys and all of that. And so I miss a lot. And so when I watch it back, I get to see the things I miss. So with that, I wanted to say a few things, give some housekeeping rules, etc. So thank all of you who sent super chats. If I missed your super chat yesterday, I apologize. I do greatly appreciate it. Those of you who have sent me cash apps, you guys have really blessed me, and I appreciate it more than you know. So if I miss you, just know that it's not, for a lack of charge it to my head, not to my heart, or charge it to my lack of multitasking, not to my heart. I really appreciate all of you. The other thing that I noticed, and the moderators, those of you who are moderators, I'm not going to say most, but some of our VIP community members are moderators, and that is granted to those who are the most engaged, the kind of the day ones, etc. And so it takes a while to get that level of in access, for lack of a better word. But I wanted to throw this out for the audience as well as the moderators as far as our rules of engagement, so they know what to look out for in the comments, etc. In our comments, in this space, we can, this is a commentary channel, but I like to say that this is commentary with compassion. So for me personally, the people I hang out with, the people who are in my world, etc., we don't do toxic. I don't do toxic. And so I feel like this is my digital home. And so I feel a virtual home. And so I feel the same way. Just like you can't come in my house and talk to me any kind of way, you're not going to be able to come on this channel and do that either. Not and keep coming back. I mean, unless you're going to keep creating accounts. Just know that those are some things that could get you blocked. I'm not saying that you cannot disagree with me. You can wholeheartedly disagree with every word I ever say, but respectfully disagree. Don't insult me, don't insult other members in our community, etc. And so wanted to say that. So the rules of engagements, and I'm gonna solidify these at some point in the future and really lay them out, but be kind, be respectful, and disagree without insulting. Also, I saw some comments about the text community and people not knowing how to join it. It's very simple. It's scrolling across the screen at the bottom. It is 312-847-2346. It's literally as simple as texting that number from your cell phone, just like you would text anyone else, and just say, hey, Bill. It don't even matter what you say in the message. It's going to automatically put you in the text community group. In the text community, what it allows is you and I to text back and forth one-on-one. No one will ever see anything you text. You can't text the group, but I can text the group. And but it allows you to get updates, updates on what we're doing right now, this particular story, but this don't last forever. But when we move on to other stories, big impactful things, and also notifications about uploading the videos, you know, anything major. I do updates about the channel. I do sometimes updates about my life here and there, etc. So with that, let's get into this because I don't have very long. We're probably going to be here like a good 15, 20 minutes. So I'm getting to the beginning of Travell Anthony Hill's testimony. So some of this that you're going to hear in this moment is going to be repetitive from last night's live. And that's necessary because everyone who's going to see this video didn't necessarily see last night live. So bear with us. But what I'm about to tell you is a bunch of stuff that I didn't even mention to y'all last night that will get mentioned in this live. So anyway, so I'm just going to jump ahead. We know that there were, I think there were 8 witnesses yesterday. Terica Ellis was one of them. Travell Hill was one of them, and then some expert witnesses. So we're jumping ahead. This is a quick round, lightning round update. So Travell ended up being the 3rd witness of, the music is on, and let me turn that off because I can hear that and it's throwing me off a little bit. Okay, there we go. Back to the comments. Okay, so Travell was the 3rd witness to testify. As I said yesterday, he was brought out during, I should say, our afternoon break. So our breaks are like generally about 10 minutes. Sometimes he'll say 5 minutes, but they always go longer. Even when he says 10 minutes, our breaks are really closer to like 15 to 20 minutes on average. So the judge gave us a break, and as people were kind of filing back in, people were mingling. Travell Anthony Hill was walked in. He was the only inmate that I've seen thus far that did not have any handcuffs, no shackles, anything like that. He came, he sat down, and he had to wait on the court to be in session again. So he was sitting, he was looking around. As I said yesterday, he appeared to have no shame in his game, whereas Terica was, looking down. And I forgot to mention, she was actually doing this at one point. So, you could see she felt it. It was it was real for her. Travell was like, chilling, chilling the whole time and looking around at everybody. No shame in his game. So we ended up, the other part I wrote here, every time someone was called out, every time someone was at the witness stand, et cetera, or walking to it, et cetera, the main people like Terica and Travell and Michelle Griggs, et cetera, I would always look over at Tim and stare at Tim really to see like, what's his reaction? How is he looking? And what I noticed with Travell is that Tim never looked up. He wasn't paying. It was like he knew he was out there, but he wasn't like looking. Travell, on the other hand, once he sat down and got settled, he actually was trying to get a eye view or shot of a glance at Tim. And so the judge's bench is like really high and it blocks the perspective where Tim was. So Travell kind of raised himself up like real quick, and you could tell he did it to look over at Tim. But Tim wasn't looking at him at that time. So the other thing that I didn't mention yesterday that I noticed was that when the jury was called in, and the court is back in session, the jury is being let back into the courtroom, and then we just stand up and they walk to their seats. It's kind of like being in school, like single file line, everybody walk to your assigned seat kind of thing. And Travell, what I noticed, stared those jurors down as they walked in, like he was doing one of those, street analyzations of everyone. Like it was a little eerie to me because I'm like, dang, he really looking at them hard. So he ended up, so they come in. Okay, so then his testimony actually starts. The government starts to ask him questions. And so one of the questions was how old he was. We found out he's 31. We knew this, but he said he was 31 years old. The other, and I think I was still mispronouncing his name just now, and I just noticed that. He stated that his name was Trivell Anthony Hill. It is not Travell, but I'm so used to saying Travell, it's going to take a while for me to get it right, if I ever get it right. But anyway, his name is Trivell Anthony Hill, not Travell. He was arrested on November of 2020, which we all know because that was a huge thing. Like, oh my God, they got the shooter. So what I also noticed when he stated his name was that he had a bit of a smirk on his face. Yeah, he was interesting. He was an interesting character. So he admitted that his occupation, when asked what his occupation was prior to being arrested, he admitted that he was a drug dealer. He was then asked to identify Tim. When they asked the witnesses to identify usually Tim, they asked that they state where they are or point where they are and state what they have on. And so Anthony Trivell said that Tim had on a black, what did he say? He said black suit. And then Trivell was asked about his drug use. He admitted that he was on during, the time this season, that year of all of that stuff happening. He was on ecstasy and Molly, he said. And then they asked him like the difference between the two. As I said last night, I don't know drugs like that, and it wasn't important. So I didn't really write down what he said the differences were, but he explained it to us. Then he was asked, what does Tim call him? As in, like, what does Tim call you when he refers to you? And Trivell was like, I don't know. You got to ask him. I thought it was kind of interesting that he didn't know what his own uncle calls him, because most of us know what our friends and family call us. I don't know. But anyway, he then was asked, well, what do you call Tim? And he says he said that he calls Tim Unc. And he said he calls Tim Unc as a way of respecting him. So then we move on to he was asked, like, when was the first time that he heard of the plan, the plot to take the life of Andre. He then tells us that the first time he had heard of it was when White Boy Chris, also aka Chris Carroll, because I saw some comments like, who is White Boy Chris? White Boy Chris is aka Chris Carroll, which is one of the people that Tim had text message exchanges with. Chris is also the person who picked him up from the airport when he flew in to commit this act, when he flew into St. Louis to commit the act. There's some more of that too, because I got some sources now. So I'm going to really give you guys some deeper tidbits that ain't nobody got. But I'll do that in the recorded video where I can be very concise with it. But stay tuned, y'all. Watch all these videos, because each video is probably going to have a little something that the other one didn't have, even if I'm talking about the same topic, because it's just so many layers to this stuff and new things come out that I find out behind the scenes. But anyway, he says that when he met up with, so he said White Boy Chris approached him. So I'm thinking, again, they didn't give a lot of details with some of these pieces, so it was kind of like you have to fill in the gaps. The way that Trivell was speaking of this particular incident seemed like to me that Trivell might have been, on the corner doing what he does, and White Boy Chris or Chris Carroll pulled up on him, and then they had a conversation. So he says, Chris then just tells him, Tim says that you're charging too much to murder Andre. That just flat out, that's all he said. So Trivell says, he's like, what you talking about? I never had a conversation with Tim about killing nobody. What I said last night is I'm not sure how much of that is true, because we got to keep in mind, Trivell has admitted himself that he was on drugs. He said all the time, constantly always on Molly or X, like constantly, consistently. And so I'm like, I don't know if he was so high with the original conversation that he just doesn't remember ever having that conversation with Tim, or the other possibility is that Chris Carroll was manipulating him because he knows that he was basically a crackhead, drug addict, and he figured I can trick him into thinking he had this conversation and then therefore trick him into actually following through. So we don't know. They didn't get into detail. I don't know. We ain't heard from no Chris Carroll. I don't know really who's testifying today. So hopefully, you know, when I give y'all the update of this day 4, which is Friday, again, remember, for those of you who don't know, I shouldn't say remember, for those of you who don't know, I will be doing the recap of today's court hearing, Friday, the 4th day of the court hearing, tomorrow around 10 a.m. I'll schedule it so you'll know exactly what time. But I won't be able to do it live tonight because I'll be traveling. Anyway, moving on. So after that, Trivell then walks us through what actually occurred with the murder. And they had evidence, photos of outside of the Natural Bridge home. Trivell walked us through like where he stood, you know, what he did before. He said that he basically he after he first connected with Terica, and she was supposed to like hit him back once she knew where Andre was going to be again. So while Terica was at the mall wasting time shopping and changing her original phone number per Tim's directions, Trivell said that he was just on the corner selling drugs. He just doing his normal routine, waiting for the call. So then, and I mentioned yesterday, it's clear that drugs have got the best of Trivell's mind. Like you could just tell with the way he was answering questions. He couldn't remember any dates. He was like, don't even bother asking me dates, because like he just doesn't process life like that. So, this is now, I have here, so during the cross-examination, when Tim's attorney is now talking to Trivell, I'm getting to the good part now. When Tim's attorney was talking to Trivell, he asked him, Tim's attorney's goal, for those of you who don't remember what I said about this, is confusion. Confusion because he wants to confuse the jury, and he just wants smoke and mirrors, because the goal is basically a mistrial, because this is clear what this is and who's guilty, but he wants a mistrial. So in efforts to do that, he'll every once in a while, daily for sure, and almost with every witness on some level, he tries to throw out something that just throws everybody off and then makes people start questioning, like making them have new questions that never get answered. So this was a moment that shocked us all, where Tim's attorney then asked, and I got to find out his name today. I know if y'all know it, put it in the chat. And when I rewatch this, because I hadn't fully done my back refresher research to remember these people's names, and I want to quit just saying Tim's attorney. But anyway, Tim's attorney then asked Trivell, he asked him, how did he feel about Dre? Like, you didn't like Dre, did you? And he was like, I actually had no feelings about Dre. Like he wasn't really a part of his life. So he had no real feelings about Dre. So he said, isn't it true that you had a problem with Dre because he said yo baby was his? So basically your baby mama actually had his baby, and that's not your child. And he's like, what? And the Griggs family gasped as well in appallment. Like everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I truly believe, and then he threw that out there and then moved on. So that told me you just trying to cause confusion. You messy. You messy. Somebody has gossiped something. You heard something, but it ain't true. And you probably know it ain't true, but you throwing it out there so people can start wondering, like, well, maybe they did have some kind of beef. Well, maybe this or maybe that. So it was appalling, but funny in the at the same time to many of us. Even the Griggs family, I just their reaction was like it was so ridiculous, so ridiculous. So, Travell then was asked. Now this is again Tim's attorney is cross-examining. He was asked, had him and Tim ever talked about the actual murder of Andre? And so Travell admitted, he said, Tim and I have never, ever talked about Andre, the murder of Andre at all. So basically, Tim orchestrated all of this and got Travell involved without ever having to say anything to him like, go do this. He implied it through the actions of the other people. It's sinister, y'all. This is deep. But he implied it through all the people who interacted with Travell based on Tim's instructions. But Tim never directly interacted with Travell concerning this. I believe in part because he knew that Travell was a drug addict. And if anybody, in his mind probably, if anyone would trick off on him, if it comes to light, it would probably be Travell or talk too much or something like that. Travell, and we know that ended up happening because Travell was on that prison call with his brother and told him. So on a prison call, a recorded prison call. All these people. Thank God for that they were so slow. So all of them getting caught up. Then he was asked about his relationship with Tim. Travell was saying that Tim has always been very good to him. Tim, helped him out, took care of him. He said one time he was really going through something. He never said what, but he was really going through something. And Tim actually flew him to California to, relieve him, help him, whatever. And again, they never got into details of what it was. So during that description and of their relationship and how Tim was really down for him, Tim busts out and says, I didn't do it. And we like, what? Because Tim ain't said a goddamn thing the entire trial. And Tim has been very stoic the entire time. If he was looking at anyone, there's zero facial expression. If something was being, evidence was being shown that was very incriminating, like the phone calls, those sort of things, we're hearing his voice and all of that, he was always looking down like he's so busy. He's busy looking at reading something because, he's so funny. But he always was looking down anytime anything incriminating was being said or shown. So that just shocked out of all of us. And so the judge, his attorney, Tim's attorney was like, hey, like, don't do that. Don't do that. But it was loud. And Tim was sobbing like, all of that. And then the judge was like, do you need him? Do you need a moment? And then I think it was a combination of Tim's attorney just saying, no, he will be fine. We're fine. So they allowed, let me make sure I didn't forget anything because that was funny, but not funny. Y'all know what I'm saying. Yeah, because it took a minute for Tim to really compose himself. So they asked Travell, I think it was like maybe one more question that his attorney asked him. And then when he rested, the judge was like, we're taking a break. And it wasn't our scheduled break. It was just like, this Negro need to get himself together because he did that. So it was just interesting to me, and I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I got 6 minutes. I'd like to be on time for stuff, so I want to get on out of here. But with that, I wanted to let y'all know that this went down. We're gonna have our live tomorrow morning. Most likely it's gonna be 10 a.m. Central Standard. I'm gonna commit to that. 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will have a live. I'll schedule it at some point. And and so we'll get into more of the nitty gritty. I might even give y'all 3 hours so I can really maybe answer some questions and really interact with you guys because I really want to get this piece together. We may have figured out the issue with the comments. I'll know later when I can dig into it. I'm praying that we figured it out. But with that, because I got to go, because I want to make sure I'm taking more notes for y'all for tomorrow. For tomorrow's live so that I don't miss anything and I'm not late. With that, thank you guys. Any of you who, there was somebody who did a super chat. Thank you, Miss Cruiser, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate you for that. But If you want to communicate with me or get any of these updates, I will be giving updates during the breaks that I can. When I get time, I'll send like little, you know, this was going down kind of thing, and who might be testifying if it's somebody big. So if you want to be in on that today and moving forward with the rest of this trial, join the text community. The number is scrolling across the screen. And all you have to do is text whatever you want to say. Hey, Vail, hi, good morning, whatever. It automatically puts you in the VIP community. Also, I've seen some comments of people saying, I don't have any messages. Nothing happened when I joined. Stuff that I've previously sent, as in text messages to the group, because they can tell y'all it's plenty that I've been texting and showing. You're not going to see that because you're late to the party. So you don't get to participate in what already happened in the past. You'll participate in what's happening moving forward. So with that, I got to go. Thank you guys for joining me this morning in this impromptu live. I really appreciate you guys. And until next time, until I upload the next video, which will participate in the next video will be tomorrow morning, make sure you guys take care, enjoy your Fridays, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.